Hey everyone, welcome back to West Coast Mopars. So today on the channel, this is a 1977 Chrysler Town Country station wagon. So I never was huge into the 70s cars, you know, they call these the formal years, I guess. I think it's 74 to 78, but, or maybe 79. Anyway, 78 was the last year for a big block for Chrysler, but this is a 77. Yeah, so I got this from some friends of mine, some young people I know. Actually, there was a video earlier on the channel where I drove my '57 Dodge over to Langley over to the Mopar show, and my friends Evan and Danica went over, and they've got that '71 Charger Super Bee, the unrestored car, a couple dents and stuff in it. But this was Danica's car. She actually bought this from my good friend Joe, who's out in Arrington on. He's got the property with all the cars in the field. So if you guys go like way back on the earlier videos on my channel, I do a walkthrough. There's four parts I think actually, where I walk through, and there's all these cars in a field. Anyways, this was one of Joe's cars, and this was his daily driver, or one of his daily drivers. And he worked at the military base in Nanaimo, and he would drive this back and forth from basically Parksville to Nanaimo every day. And when I first met him, I met him and he was driving this car, so I would have been about probably 10 years old maybe. So anyways, long story short, this was Joe's car, and then he stopped driving. He's 86 now, I think, and so a lot of his cars kind of just started getting sold, and Danica bought this car from Joe, and it needed a bunch of work, but they were driving it around. Anyways, they had to move, and they offered it to me. So I wasn't really in the market for another car. My yard is kind of full, but I couldn't pass it up. And Joe's a good friend of mine, and you know, just seeing another one of his cars get saved. She had tried selling it previously, but people were talking about derbying it or taking the engine out of it or whatever. So it's a pretty cool old 70s station wagon. It's screaming 1977. You know, the paint, the wood grain, but it doesn't need too much. I drove it home from Nanaimo. It's got an exhaust leak. I noticed the hard line for the fuel underneath is dripping right around the middle of the body, so I looked at it. It's pretty rusty, so I'm going to fix that. And it does need, I mean, if you really get close and you look at it, it's rusty down at the bottom. This is from Joe daily driving it in the winters up and down the island. They salt the roads here. Everything you drive in the winter here just turns to crap. So unfortunately, the bottoms of the doors and everything are pretty rough. And this trunk, the spare tire well here is hanging down. So that's just a tarp there. Somebody shoved in there, probably stop all the water from spraying up. But I'm gonna try and fix that. I don't know quite yet the extent of it. It looks like there's actually some Bondo here. So somebody's already been in here. But that's one thing to do. The fuel leak, the exhaust leak, and the heater. That's right, the heater core is not hooked up. So I do have some other earlier C-bodies with heater cores in them, and I've got a couple extra heater cores I got from a guy for C-bodies. So I might take a look at them and see if anything works, because it'd be nice to be able to drive this thing, when it's cold out and not be freezing in there. So I'll go over the car with you guys here, and then we'll stick it in on the hoist and get to work. But yeah, so this, I believe it's original paint. Now the dash has been changed. I think Joe changed it because he's got a bunch of parts cars. So this dash says LeBaron and it's gold. That would have been from probably an Imperial. This car is not an Imperial, it's a Town & Country. Now it's got manual windows. The map light works. There, it's got the optional remote for the mirror. That's for the passenger side mirror. It's all the way over here, so you don't have to reach over. It's got a factory AM/FM 8-track radio, and the 8-track part doesn't work, but the AM/FM does. It's got rear speakers in the pillars there, so it's got the balance switch. That works fine. This came ordered with an optional electric lock. This is for the tailgate lock. So it automatically locks when you're driving, and then you probably hear it. that unlocks it. I don't know if you guys heard that. And then this is for the window. So, oh, you gotta have the key on, I guess. Oh, there we go. So, if you guys watch back there, I don't know if you can see the window coming down. So the switch works for the window. It came optional with the door ajar. I already ran the fender tag, so that was an option. It's got the trip meter. The fuel gauge works. Temp gauge and ammeter don't seem to work. I don't know. I feel like the ammeter probably got bypassed if it's not moving, because it's weird that that's not working. Yeah, it's got this gauge here for there's a little compressor actually behind the grill. I think Joe put it in. There's some air shocks in the back, so it's got like a little compressor here, and there's the regulators down here with a toggle switch to turn it on and off. It's got a split bench, so this is like it's actually technically two really wide bucket seats, but it's a split bench. The passenger side actually reclines all the way. It's got dual armrests. The back seat is beautiful in this thing. And, you know, it folds down and makes the big cargo space in the back. And literally, you can put a 8-foot sheet of plywood in the back. That's how big this thing is. Door panels are pretty good. The doors aren't all rotted out. Now, it's got the handle broke off. I think the last Danica said they accidentally broke it off. But it does have, see, it says gate and door. If we go gate to the left. Oh, I guess I locked the door. There we go. Gate to the left. Whoop. Gate opens down. And it's got this crazy mechanism over here. So, if you shut the gate and go to the right, this thing opens sideways as well. So it's got a dual action tailgate. And it's nice. It's not all rotted out. The tailgate's in great shape. It's got the bumper with the steps. Under here is the spare tire well, so I will definitely be opening this up to get that spare tire out, and I can fix the bottom. This is just more storage here. Let's see if I can get this open. It's hard to get open. It's kind of jams up in the top here, but there you go. There's more storage there. Lots of storage in the back here. And then underneath, when you lift this guy, there's more storage under here, and you can lift the whole thing out. And yeah, so pretty neat car. It's also got the rear spoiler, and what this does, it's not for going fast. This keeps the fumes out of the cabin when you're driving, if you got the window down. So I used to have that 68 Polara wagon, and when you'd be driving, if you crack the window at all, the fumes would just get sucked right in. You get poisoned in there. So this whole point in the spoiler is when you're driving, the air comes down underneath and pushes all the fumes away from the window. It's got the optional wheel skirts. I'm missing an emblem on the driver's side, but there it is, Town and Country. It's got front disc brakes. The hood emblem, somebody broke it off, but I do have another one for it. And it has a 440, so that's the other cool part about it. Now I believe 440s were standard in these because they're so big, but it was during the time of a fuel crisis, so they did offer a 400 as well, but those are the only two engines you could get. So I'm happy this has the 440. That's probably why Joe loved it, because everything he drove had a 440. It's got a 26-inch radiator. They put on a new alternator, regulator, new ignition box. Now here, they've looped the heater hoses, right? They've just looped it here. But this is where this thing's all rusty. I don't really care if this thing is hooped. I might just, well, we'll see. This is like the control valve for the heater, and it's vacuum. So the whole thing's kind of hokey dokey, but, and this thing still has a thermoquad, which actually works pretty well. It's a little bit funny when it's cold, but once it warms up, it's pretty good. So I also have to add a battery hold down. Yeah, but this is it, and it actually runs pretty good. I just moved it in the back here so I could put it on the hoist, and fire fires right up. It's still cold. I haven't run it at all, but there you can see the fuel gauge works. You can hear that exhaust leak a little bit. Oh, that's great. The other thing that it might need is a timing chain. Now, I haven't put my timing gun on it yet, but according to the last people, they said when it's cold, this thing's a nightmare to start. They were moving the distributor around trying to get it running. So I might take a look at that. I'll probably just start by putting my timing gun on it and the timing light. And if it jumps around like crazy, that's a good sign the timing chain's worn out. If it holds dead straight, then it's probably okay. Alright, and I'm just picking away at the heater core, so what a pain this is. I tried looking up a little bit of info last night. I fought with this a lot last night, trying to get it out. So I did manage to get the heater core out of the firewall there. Now it looks like I had to take out the nuts. There's one there, one here, one over here, one below. There's like 5 or 6 studs that go through the firewall, and you got to pull the nuts. And so it all was, it's definitely not simple. And then under the dash here, I did get it disconnected. So I disconnected the there's one of the cables for the controls. I had to disconnect the vacuum line to move it around a bunch. I've pulled, I pulled out the glove box. I pulled out, had to pull the kick panel so I could pull the carpet back. This whole thing is just awful. And then looking online, it looks like, guys, I couldn't find much on a 77. I did find a little bit on a 73. Guys were saying they had to pull the radio and the heater controls out so they could get the unit up in order to get the face off the front in order to pull the heater core. And all this for a heater core that you can't even get. So I'm hoping to just use a different heater core. Oh man, this is a headache. And yeah, I don't know. What a pain. I can see why nobody wants to do this. Okay, well, things have escalated. So firstly, like I said, I had seen online, guys were talking about removing the radio and the heater controls. So I had to pull the gauge cluster trim, this guy. It's kind of just hanging there right now. There's a bunch of stuff you have to unplug. Luckily, this car is actually really nice. Like, all the connections come apart really easily. Nothing's rusted. So that's good. But then I realized I still couldn't get it out. So I'm starting to think I didn't have to remove any of that stuff. That all could have stayed. Possibly the trim had to come off. But what it looks like you can actually do here, this is the bottom metal part of the dash frame. I took the 2 bolts out of the sides on the behind the kick panels. And then there's just some screws. There's just screws that go into the actual top part of the dash that come out and pull this dash, the bottom dash frame out of the way. And then I'll be able to get the heater core out. So, whoa, man, it's just been, hopefully everything goes back together smoothly, and I can remember where everything goes. There's a lot of stuff that I had to disconnect and all that. So I might, while I'm in here, try and fix the temperature gauge. I might see why it's not moving. And same with the ammeter, just see maybe somebody bypassed it. I've already got it this far apart. I may as well check it out. Okay, well, I got the fuel leak figured out. That frost plug isn't leaking. Back here, I just did a real quick, hokey little fix underneath with some, just some license plates. I know it's terrible and what else would you expect, but I couldn't find any sheet metal that was a big enough piece to cut and bend in there, and it's all rusted down there. There's nowhere to weld it in, so that's as good as it gets for now. I just shoved the tarp back in there to keep any fumes out and keep the water from spraying in there. There's a few holes in the wheel well. That's like the rustiest part of the whole car. The rest of the car is really good. I just got to run over, get some fuel in the jerry can there. That's for fill up some of the project cars. Man, when you're driving this thing is a boat. when you turn around and it just keeps going and going and going. It's awesome to drive though. It just floats down the road, and being basically burnt orange with wood grain, it's definitely people stare and just tried to fix that exhaust leak, but they don't use donuts by this here. It's just the pipes flanged over the manifold, and that's just the way it is. So I did try putting some of that just exhaust patch stuff just to fill in some of the voids on the manifold, because it's cast, right? So it's got some pitting, but I don't know. It's about as good as it gets. I sort of banged the pipe around and made it a bit better, but yeah, as for the heater core, so I ended up taking out the whole dash, like not this part, but I took out underneath. So I took out like the glove box. I took out all the sheet metal. Actually, this whole piece comes down. You can remove it. I ended up taking out the radio, the temp gauge, and then I took the heater core out of the heater box and I ran water through it and I just flushed it out. But I put about 10 pounds of pressure to it and it didn't leak. And so I thought, well, that's strange. And then I called around the parts stores to see if I could even get one, and they don't exist. So basically I just checked it for any pinholes. I mean, I don't know, once the car's warm and it's pressurized, maybe it'll start leaking. But I wonder if maybe just the hose was loose on the nipples there, let stick through the firewall. I have no idea. The young guy that I got the car from, well, I got it from his girlfriend, but the young guy said that as soon as they fired it up from where it was parked, it started leaking there all over the floor. I don't know. I've got it hooked up. It's not leaking. It puts out awesome heat, like almost too good. Now the little vacuum canister under the hood, which I believe is sort of the heat shutoff valve, it's broken, so I don't have it hooked up to that. So, but I could always just, it's got the off selection there. I could probably just turn it off. It would probably maybe work. I don't know. But yeah. Otherwise, it's doing pretty good. Alright, just got some gas, just headed out. So far, no leaks. Nothing's leaking anywhere. The frost plug, the fuel line, the heater core, nothing's leaking, so that's good. And for such a heavy car, man, by 77, these 440s were only like, I don't know, 150 horsepower because of the smog era and everything. The compression just drastically dropped. But it's still like 500 foot-pounds of torque, so this thing's still off the line. Like, for what it is, man, this thing pulls pretty good. I don't know. I bought it thinking, I don't know how long I'll keep it, but now I'm pretty attached. Something about a 20-foot station wagon from the 70s that can keep up with everybody else up. This thing is pretty sweet. It's actually in pretty good shape, like when, considering a little bit of rust at the bottoms of everything, but like looking at the back seat and everything back in the back there, it's got headliner. It's yeah, I gotta figure out the temp gauge. I might have to put like an aftermarket one in underneath or something, I don't know. But maybe fill in these goofy little vents here, put a temp gauge there. That might not be a bad idea. I don't know. And I gotta get that right fender mounted turn signal working. I know that the front and rears work, but the fender mounted one and the one in the dash doesn't work. But when you push it left, right, it blinks in the dash and it blinks up on the fender there. What else was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I was gonna put this probably came with a mirror that hung from the window. It fell off. But I might I might convert it to just above the radar detector came with the car too, but might convert that where the visors sit there. I might put one of those like ones with the mirrors mounted there. I've got a bunch of those in the shop. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Couple things to do. I'm still going to buff the paint too. See if I can clean it up a bit. It's kind of oxidized, but yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the new daily driver, and we will see you on the next one.